Hail, Master Mutator, Lord of Hellpit. The loathsome creations that inhabit the labyrinthine tunnels of Clan Moulder's stronghold await your command. The lands beyond the walls of the Nine Circles are rife with specimens to test your handiwork on. The Dwarfs' short limbs and simplistic anatomies may offer little to your flesh lab, but their cadavers can still be harvested to further your experiments. The cities of the Kislevite man-things await subjugation, but be wary, for they wield considerable military power by virtue of their vast lands. Make use of your growth vat to strengthen your monstrous ranks before attempting an attack. You are a master of monster splicing, mutation, and unnatural breeding, unclean one. Use your heinous gifts to bring defilement to the vile purity of the surface. Shape the dregs of these lands to your heart's twisted desires.
Hello, monsters abound here, and welcome to Total War Warhammer 2, Mortal Empires, The Twisted and the Twilight, and the first part of my brand new campaign with Clan Moulder as Throt the Unclean. Oh, it's good. So, first off, before we get into the, what's it called, the Flesh Laboratory? The Flesh Laboratory. Let's have a quick look at Skrulk himself.
Feed Throt!
We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so Throt has the Lord of Hellpit trait, which reduces the upkeep for all of Clan Moulder's units, things like Wolf Rats, Rat Ogres, Mutant Rat Ogres, Brood Horror, and Hellpit Abominations by 20%. Nice to start off with. Also gives the ability Beast Pack, which spawns a unit of Rat Ogres, which is quite nice. He also gets Master Controller, a nice buff that gives everyone more melee defense and leadership and regeneration, and increases the armor for all of his Hellpit units as well. So that's a good start. Quite nice. We have a look at what he comes with. He can be mounted on a Brood Horror. That's the thing there. He does have the ability Remolded as well, which has two uses and will allow him to heal and buff Clan Moulder monsters. He also can increase his growth juice gained from recycling units, and his armor piercing damage and bonus first large. Also his cash replenishment rate, more growth juice gained from battles in compost battle loot. We've got perfect vigor and leadership, and we will then have a nice buff for all of the Clan Moulder units, their missile resistance, weapon strength, and melee defense for all of them. And then finally, the Unclean one, which is going to allow him an extra use of Beast Pack, so more Rat Ogres, ward save, and hit points. So far, so good. He also comes with the Creature Killer item. That's a weapon, and the Whip of Domination, which is a, I want to say, enchanted item, and gives campaign movement range, melee attack, and some other stats for things like Skaven Slaves, charge bonus, and leadership for all of those Hellpit units. Clan Moulder itself makes Frozen a suitable climate, which I think means that, yeah, the only unpleasant that they have is Chaotic Wasteland and Desert, and then uninhabitable is Magical Forest, Ocean, and Temperate Island. I don't really understand the Temperate Island, but you know what, never mind. It also has access to Clan Moulder Flesh Laboratory. We have a look at that in a second. More hit points for everyone, makes him immune to mountain attrition, and construction cost reduction for the Clan Moulder buildings. Okay, so that's all so far so good. However, the best bit about playing as Clan Moulder is the Flesh Laboratory. And this is probably the best mechanic they've added to the game so far. And I think I say that every time they have a DLC with a Skaven faction in it, because I don't know whether they've got specific developers working on, like, this is the Skaven developer, and if so, that guy needs a fucking raise, because this is great. So you have infantry and monster augments, and to augment a unit we use mutagen. So if we wanted to, say, give this Storm Vermin unit Cancerous Carapace, and why wouldn't we? Bone Hard Tumours, filling the body makes it more likely the enemy attacks are deflected. Lovely. Well, that sounds great. That's definitely the kind of thing these guys want. But we're not going to give it to them because, more interestingly, is the monster augments. Now, already we've got a unit here. So these wolf rats here, you can see you've got a little green circle, but also a little bit of red. And this means that these units have already got some mutations on them, but they've become unstable. So each time we buff a unit, we have a small instability chance. Now this, obviously 10% is very low. So we can say, give our rat ogres here, Razor Claw Grafts, one of Throt's simpler enchantments, involves simply grafting sharp weapons onto the host hand. Fair enough, nice and easy. That costs 25 mutagen. Bosh. There we go. Life indeed. Rat ogres now have more melee attack and weapon strength. Pretty good, right? I mean, that's perfect. And you can see they've got fully green circle there. They're fine. Their instability chance, though, has increased to 20%. So, what happens if you get instability? Well, you end up with this. So, basically, this gives this unit instability 1. Each instability they get gets worse. Now, currently, this means that this unit will start losing hit points once it's been reduced to 25% of their hit points. Which isn't too bad, because that's quite a lot of damage. However, what this does mean is that if a unit during a battle gets reduced to this level of hit points, there's a high chance that they will just wipe themselves out through self-damage. And there's more ranks of instability. In fact, there's 3 ranks. The second rank is 50%, and the third rank is 25%, which means if they lose 25% of their health, they start losing health. And it's severe damage. So, ultimately, you don't really want to become unstable unless you can help it. But if you keep piling your augments onto units, they're more likely to become unstable. Can you imagine this mechanic for Chaos Warriors? That's right, yes, Demon Princes or mutate into Chaos Spawn. Does that not sound the best fucking thing in the world? Yes, it does. Yes, you're right. Okay, so obviously we're going to burn through our mutagen pretty fast there. So how do we get more mutagen? Well, we need growth juice. Growth juice is different from mutagen. Growth juice we acquire passively, so we get 60 a turn. We'll also gain it from battles, from buildings, and also from recycling units. Because if a unit becomes unstable, we might decide we don't want it anymore. At that point, we can chuck it back in the vat. That's going to give us more growth juice. Now, growth juice increases until we get to the wolf rat cluster. So we need 500 growth juice for that. At that point, we can empty out the monster vat. So what this will do is basically reduce our growth juice down to 0 again and give us a bunch of units to recruit. It'll also give us 100 mutagen to use. However, we can save it. If we don't want the wolf rats, we can save it. We can go for the rat ogre cluster, or we can save it again and go for the brute horror cluster. Just a little bit more than the mutant rat ogre cluster, and then finally the Hellpit abomination cluster at 1,000 growth juice. Now, once it hits 1,000, it empties by itself by default. That will then give us 120 mutagen to use. So obviously, if we want some quick mutagen, we can go for the, well, that's only 500 growth juice. Alternative, we can hold on. That only gives us 20 more mutagen, but it's double the growth juice requirement. So it's kind of a payoff. Do you want to get that mutagen quickly, or do you want more powerful monsters? So once we get our monster vats, it will basically give us some random units. But if, for example, we get the mutant rat ogre batch, there will definitely be a mutant rat ogre there. Hellpit abomination, there'll definitely be a Hellpit abomination there. So the longer you wait, the more reward, but it's quicker if you just want the quick mutagen to just go for like the wolf rat cluster, where you're probably not going to get those higher rank units, but you will get that mutagen quickly. So, we are going to... What do I want to do here? So, what we can do, because to unlock more of these buffs, we basically need to apply them to units. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these wolf rats here the warp fuel infusion.
What rough beast thing comes?
And then what I can do is I can give our rat ogres the forced whatever that is, which basically gives them 2 augments. But it's only unlocked once, so I could maybe go for Deadly Momentum, because that's going to increase their base weapon damage and charge bonus, both of which are important for rat ogres. Fuck it, we're doing it. Okay, they're still fine. However, the instability chance has increased to 30. So, basically, you could have the most overpowered units possible if you get very, very fucking lucky. But if it goes wrong once, then basically your unit's, well, not fucked, but it makes it less potent. Especially because instability also reduces the casualty replenishment rate. So we have a look here, we can see casualty replenishment rate minus 10%. So if you get instability, your unit's going to regenerate slow. It's basically, it's got a higher chance of being wiped out. But if you keep getting lucky, get some good shit. I mean, this is 30%. Do I give the synaptic response stimuli more speed, more physical resistance? Oh, it's like playing fucking Buckaroo. You never know when he's going to buck. But so far, so good. So our rat ogres now have increase base weapon damage, speed, charge bonus, melee attack, weapon strength, and physical fucking resistance. Oh yes. Oh yes. However, we have burned through all of our mutagen, which is a shame because I really wanted to give Fluffy something, but I can't now. Oh well, never mind. So, you can always buy mutagen for 5,000 gold. You can buy that. There's like this laboratory here. It gives you some options that you can get. So, unclean energy bar. So for 10 mutagen, you can give cash replenishment rate for lords, leadership aura size, and increase use of the beast pack ability. You can also harvest organs, which will give cash replenishment rate for all the Hellpit units. Now that could be quite useful because we have a look at imperfection removal. It increases weapon strength and melee attack, but reduces melee defense. Also gives 100% cash replenishment rate reduction. Now that means that unit will never replenish, unless, of course, you get this thing, in which case they will replenish. So that's potentially an option. You also get a whole different bunch of bonuses you can get. And you need to basically complete growth vat batches, those monster batches, to get those and unlock them. But if you have, like, this is the one here, like mutagen's distillation is going to reduce the upkeep for each instability on unstable units, which basically means if you get instability 3, that unit is 75% cheaper, which is ridiculous. At that point, it's almost worth just having throwaway units that you just pile bonuses on. I mean, it's so good. It's so good. So, this mechanic, just amazing. So good. I cannot stress this enough. Some people are going to be like, oh, well, the Wood Elves got dicked on this one, didn't they? And I'm like, well, sort of. This mechanic is a lot more fun. But the Wood Elf mechanic makes them interesting as a faction. So, while I think that the Clan Moulder mechanic is brilliant, I do think the Wood Elves are actually really fun to play. It's just a different experience, that's all. I don't think it's any better or worse. Apart from that, it's probably better. Anyway, so we're going to attack Khazid border hack. We do start up in Hellpit. There's Hellpit and Kislev around us, of course, the Dwarfs to the north. My thinking is we probably don't want to pick on the Dwarfs because they tend to have a lot of stuff, and early on, we're not going to.
25 finger claws, freeze.
Yeah, that would be a problem. I guess you've really got... I mean, with gloves, you're going to have to buy 2 packs, aren't you? And you're going to waste 50% of one of those packs. That's going to be a nightmare. And we've got Jeremy the intern here. He is a pack master. He has sharp teeth.
Fool, think best better than me.
Fair enough. Let's pop
Clan strongest best with pack
him in there. And we'll go and take our new super rat ogres for... Oh my god, this is so exciting.
Freezing way.
So good. So good.
At last, flesh meat.
Ah, first battle of the campaign. It's always got that new campaign battle smell. Mmm. Polystyrene fresh, maybe. So let's have a look. We've got Throt. There's Throt scampering. He doesn't have his brood horror yet. That's fine. He's just scampering around on foot. He's a bit of a porky boy, isn't he? And there is Jeremy, of course. Currently moving up with the infantry because all of our monstrous units are just a bit faster than he is. And there's Fluffy. Currently not upgraded in any way. But then we've got what I'm going to call the Uber Ogres. The Uber Ogres with all their buffs rampaging up the flank with Fluffy. And then, of course, the Wolf Rats. Now, these are, you know what? I quite like these sort of like fast units because they're very nippy at charging in and out of combat. And these guys, very, very nippy. Speed of 95. Very good at picking off those missile units. Talking of missile units, the Dwarves trying to fall up into a defensive line. It's too late though, as our Skaven slaves move in to engage. Obviously the Skaven slaves just chaff, but that's fine. And in comes Jeremy and the Uber Ogres, body slamming. Jesus. Alright, Fluffy, chill out. Have I fed him today? That's right, I never feed him. And then the Wolf Rats charging in. These dwarves completely surrounded. And this is a bad time. The dwarves really need a nice strong front line. If you get in behind them, then, well, bad times ensue. And dwarves explode into jam. Throt has summoned in his unit of rat ogres. They've slammed into the back of these miners. And that's causing a lot of damage there. And you can see already the dwarves scattering off. The Uber Ogres coming back in and charging this unit of miners. Miners were taking apart this unit of Wolf Rats, but that's fine. We got them now. They're on the run. In fact, everyone's on the run. As the Uber Ogres punch dwarves into jam. A good first battle. Now,
Break will. Take shiny shinies.
we could occupy it, but I actually think the better option is going to be to expand the Under Empire. But I think we can sack it first. And I think then we can expand the Under Empire. So we get the money and an Undercity, because I don't think I want to expand into the mountains just yet, especially when we've got Kislev to our south down here. I think we're going to leave this. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get the... because I think we can probably make some friends with the Norscans over here. So we're going to try and make friends with the Norscans. And we're going to try and pop some Undercities in there to make food and all that kind of good stuff. Now, Throt has leveled up. Obviously, we're going to go with Root Marcher to start off with. That's always a good start. And Jeremy is now... I kind of want Stimulate Growth, but I just don't know if we're going to spend enough time in the Hellpit region to warrant it. I think we'll go for it, but I'm not 100% sure. So we have Hellpit here. Now, Hellpit has a special building, which is the lower levels of Hellpit, which is going to generate some food, public order, growth juice, upkeep reduction for rat ogres and Hellpit abominations, recruitment costs for the same, and recruit rank for the same, and more Skaven corruption. And that upgrades eventually to the depths of Hellpit, which is going to increase food, public order, more growth juice per turn, and a whole bunch of extra nice little bonuses, as well as recruitment duration -1 for Hellpit abomination units. We've also got the breeding stock in the settlement, which would... It's nice because we have the wolf rats, but until we get the rat ogres and packmaster, it's probably not that useful. So what we need to do is we need to beef up this settlement ASAP. Now we do start with the exotic animals in this province, and this is quite nice because it's going to give us more growth juice, and growth juice is our bread and butter. So we're going to increase we're going to get the exotic animal tamer there. Now here we could potentially get some like better units, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to instead go for the rattling warrens, which might seem a bit weird, but it's all about the growth. That's going to increase growth. And once we have 2 population surplus, we can then build the Hellpit Warren. That means we can upgrade to the Pit of Packmasters. We also get 2 more building slots. So we're going to be a little bit on the weak side until that happens. We can only get one tech at the moment, which is Ferocious Plans. We'll grab that one. So we need to beef up our growth juice. We need to beef up Hellpits. And then we need to go on the attack. We can also increase growth here. Get expansionist planning. Perfect. So far, so good. So unlock the dominating scheme, which is fine. I kind of want to get out of here. Now, there's no... I don't think there's any point... We'll just book it over here, because that's going to help our growth as well. So we should see a bit increase in growth, I hope, from having... what's his face in it? Jeremy. That's it. Jeremy the intern is going to help with the... I don't know what he's doing, but he's helping the growth. You know, cracking a few out, I guess. Anyway, let's get the nest nursery. That's probably where he is, to be honest. Also, I forgot to actually build anything in Arundel City. Oops. Now, I want to expand, so we're going to go for the subterranean pit. That is going to cost us a little bit of income and food, but currently food should be fine, especially because we've got another food building here. So actually, at max rank, we'll have the 2 food coming in there, plus the 5 food here. So we'll actually be doing quite well. It's quite good for food. Now, I am going to grab, because we're not going to be fighting dwarves unless I can help it. We're just going to get a shit ton of wolf rats with poison. I'm tempted to chuck these ones into the growth fat, but I think I'll only do that if we have capped out all of our units, and it will expedite, say, getting say if we end up with like 960 odd growth juice, I can chuck them back into the vat and we'll instantly get the growth fat completed then. At that point, we're probably going to get some more wolf rats anyway. I can replace it from there. Also, units that come from the big old vat of monsters will have some mutations by default. So there we go. We can get driven by hunger. That will then lead on to always more besides, which of course is more replenishment, which is exactly what we want. So we've got more growth there. In fact, our growth, we should now have another population surplus in 3 turns. So what we can do now is actually declare war on Kislev, because Fort Strogov here is going to be my bitch. Ow! Fuck me, Fluffy! God, don't let them do it. Right, we'll sack it. And we will scamper back to our own territory just over here. Now we have a little agent down here, which is not ideal. Fluffy took an absolute fucking beating then, Jesus. Right, we're going to Ancient Cunning, more ambush success chance, because of course Skaven have a default ambush. Movement stance, which is always good. I'm going to get Scavenge, because more money after battle is good. And let's see if we can kill you. What's the chance? 32% chance. Only a 6% chance of him being wounded.
Beasts no bad thing.
Jeremy did it. Holy shit. Good job, Jeremy. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't expecting much from you, but you have blown away my expectations by not being catastrophically shit. Fort Ostros down here is... Oh, it hasn't built... Normally it builds defences. It hasn't built defences. Interesting. Okay. God, I might have to fight battles at this point if it's going to kick the shit out of all of my monsters every single fucking time. Now, it should be said that... Okay, so here's our first quest. It should be said that your monster... You might think, like, oh, if I buff up my monsters too much, then they'll become unstable, and then I'll have to get rid of them, and then, well, I'll have to recruit more. No, no, no. Because, of course, you get your big vat of monsters, don't you? Your monsters, fucking, you throw them away. Who gives a shit, right? Pile on those augments. If it all goes to... Just throw them away in combat and get some new ones. That's what it's all about. Anyway, so we need to embed a Warlock Engineer hero into Throt's army. So Throt, a legendary things catcher. Creature killer, is on the fritz as he's attempted to throttle a rat ogre to drag it into his wretched flesh laboratory. One of the prongs in his apparatus business end snapped loose, becoming entirely detached. Ugh, mechanical tinker fix it is for Skyer's drag. Stupid boring, Throt lamented out loud as he shoved a warp-laced energy bar into his mouth. Really? He'd always been suspicious of Scryer engineers, who he considered small brain for being so obsessed with machinery, when tinkering with natural and unnatural anatomy was so much more interesting. Warlock engineers have knowledge and means to restore his entry weapon, and regardless of his cynicism, the Tinker Rats, his beasts weren't going to throttle themselves. So true. So we need to get a Warlock Engineer in our army, and that's going to give us the Creature Killer. There's no quest battle for this. You just need a Warlock Engineer and Bosch. So we'll probably we'll probably use one of these building slots for a Warlock Engineer building. That will also allow us to recruit Plague Ball Catapults, of course, which is always good. Let us recruit some... thing like that. I think that sounds pretty good. Jeremy, you're going to get back in here. Jeremy can also learn a whole bunch of new interesting things. He can ride on a brood horror as well. He also gets Tide of Death, so he can spawn in some more wolf rats, and the second rank gives him another use of that. He also gets Carrying the Stick, which uses upkeep for Clan Moulder units, and recruit rank for the same. Master Moulder, which gives him casual replenishment rate for those units, and leadership. Hero Catcher, which allows him to do extra damage, or rather increases success chance of wounding and his hero cost for all actions. And also Flesh Snatcher, which allows him to replenish units, and also reduces the character replenishment rate of local enemy armies, which is quite nice. Quite nice indeed. So we're going to do some recruitment. Okay, now I have done a little reload because right. So basically, we're gonna fight Fort Strogov, and I auto-resolve this battle. This one here. So that's 6 of their units versus all of mine, and it killed Fluffy, and also almost killed my rat ogres in auto-resolve. So maybe there's a bit of an issue with auto-resolve and Clan Moulder monsters. So we're going to fight this one.
Time to feed feast.
This is vengeance for Fluffy, because that auto-resolve, well, that was just mean. I mean, auto-resolve's normally mean, but basically we're just going to charge this tiny insignificant garrison and rip them limb from limb. I don't think they are. The wolf rats swarming in from all sides, and then here comes the rest of the army. To be honest, I think they're going to be a little bit too little too late. In comes Fluffy, belly flopping into a horde of Imperial soldiers, and yep, they are already running. And yep, the entire army is shattered. And I think you'll note, Fluffy very much still fucking alive. In fact, very, very few casualties on the Skaven side. Fuck you, auto-resolve. Fuck you. So that's a bit more like what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting Fluffy and my rat ogres to get absolutely fucking rinsed. So good. That's more like it. Thank you very much. Right, let's get you boys over here. So we actually have 500. So we could now do the growth vats, and that would give us units. It would also give us some food. Each claim batch also grants different amounts of mutation, in addition to 10 food, which can be increased to 15 by upgrading the flesh laboratory, which we're not going to do. Well, we will upgrade the flesh, but we're not going to get that just yet. We are going to get Tide of Pox, because frankly, having more wolf rats is never a bad thing. And we can... I didn't upgrade that today. Never mind. We'll upgrade to the Hellpit. Good. And I will maybe put a message on the Total War Discord basically saying, maybe you want to tone down the amount of damage done to Clan Moulder units because, ow. Okay, so we got driven by hunger, so that's a little bit more income from post-battle loot. And yes, we've just been told that we've got a growth vat batch available, but we're not going to take it. Instead, we're just going to go and kick the shit out of Fort Strogov again. This time I can probably auto-resolve that. Ow! Jeez. Okay, yeah, yes. I think there could be a problem with the damage being applied slightly unfairly to Fluffy. Hashtag just Fluffy things. Jesus. Good God, that's a bit brutal, isn't it? But basically, we're doing this just so we can level up. That's the plan. We're getting a little growth as well here, because I think this will come in useful, a little bit of extra growth as well. So 3 turns. Good. We can get always more besides. That will help heal Fluffy up when he's endlessly getting brutally murdered every single time we do an auto-resolve. Now, something we probably should have done was to make friends with the local ruffians. So, Wintertooth. Hello.
You won't like me when I'm angry or hungry.
We've got actually a lot in common, Throg. We're both hungry.
For certain.
Good. Okay, we've got Throg on side. So that's good. Hopefully, Throg will be a good friend. I'm tempted to take you do not have defenses, do you? And we have monsters. We could take Fort could we take this? It's ballsy. It's ballsy. Maybe if we I mean, wolf rats are just better than slaves, aren't they? But slaves are cheaper. But let's get some more slaves. Okay. We'll spend a turn healing up because I auto-resolved Fluffy and that hurt. I am probably going to need to fight every single battle, aren't I? Oh, this knobhead's back. David. He doesn't even know how to spell freaking David. Okay, let us go and take Fort Ostrot, especially because we've got full growth as well. This will be a nice little extra capital for us. Really? Ultrasol's being really mean to me. I mean, it's never super nice, but this is more brutal than usual. Leave nothing standing. Just walk over it. So we're sending the Skaven slaves up, and the clan rats, of course, up onto the wall because, no, it's fine. Wolf rats deployed over on the other gate, but have since sprang back to help us over there. Basically, we were acting as a feint, so it drew some of these units away from this front, and then we're going to quickly smash down the door before they can redeploy. See the gates going down very, very quickly there. How's it going, boys? Yeah, that little yeah, you should have started running quite a while ago. Will they though? Will they? In comes Fluffy, the Uber Ogres. slamming Imperial soldiers to death. Obviously, they're Kislev soldiers, but they're Empire swordsmen, aren't they? Yeah, there's Fluffy getting stuck in. Good job, Fluffy. Some swordsmen are trying to break away, and a lot of our infantry actually making it up to the wall completely unmolested. The Wolf Rats are going to surge through and take out this unit of swordsmen. Get 'em, lads. Just one or two. And while that's happening, monstrous units making quite a mess of all that infantry. Lovely squishy infantry. There's some spearmen there. How's that going to work out for you? You going to hold the line, boys? Nope. 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 Did not hold the line. Did that? Nope. That's not so much of a line anymore. Some more spearmen charging in, though. We've summoned in some more rat ogres. See, they're just about to die. The red aura there suggesting that they are near the end of their lifespan. Rat ogres making a real mess of those spearmen. And impressively, our wolf rats are now claiming the city as their own. How does that work? Not 100% sure. Do they have the opposable thumbs to raise that flag? Again, not 100% on how that's working out, but never mind. Few battered remnants of swordsmen and spearmen raking their way, but the wolf rats are all over them. Their lunch. Just swarming all over. Now, there is one unit of crossbows still over on this side of the city, and we're currently kind of busy. Obviously, the wolf rats, despite the ability to raise our flag at the city centre, have no ability to climb ladders, unfortunately. That's next on the training scheme. Whether we'll ever get there, I don't know. Our poor storm vermin. The AI does like to pick. It does like to pick a target like the storm vermin and just shoot them with everything it's got. Fortunately, these guys at least have some shields, which means they're going to take limited damage from those crossbows. It's going to take them a little while to wander their way over there, though. And while they're doing that, of course, there's not much for Throt, the Uber Ogres, and Fluffy to do, along with Jeremy, of course, apart from wait down in the courtyard for these fleeing Imperial troops to come down off the wall and get smushed. I get the feeling Auto-Resolve is not going to be my friend, because that was nowhere near half 50-50. I mean, that wasn't even close. Do I go for? Dare I dream the impossible dream? Let's do it. We're doing it. For Ostrosk is ours. We probably want to get defences, because this is going to be a front line. We can always get rid of them later on. Let's get the Taskmaster's platform. And... oh, but then this will be finished in one turn. I think we need to save. I think we need to save some money. I think we need to, as much as I would like, just to beef it up. But we're going to save. So Jeremy, you are going to get Tide of Death. Let's do that. So I think we've already dealt quite a major blow to Kislev, I think, taking Fort Ostrosk from them. I mean, they do start out with quite, a large empire comparatively to most factions. They actually start out with a lot of stuff, but we have removed some of that from them. I mean, getting a rank 4 settlement this early on, quite potent, let's be honest. Okay, so we've got the quest for the Whip of Domination. We need to kill 1,000 enemies in battle. Throt's legendary Flesh Lab has long been the breeding ground for countless and indescribable monstrosities, which ensure Clan Moulder's sinister power never wanes. But a steady stream of walking, or stomping, or scuttling, or rolling, or unspeakably undulating nightmares requires more than mere severed limbs, extracted brains, and mangled spines. Growth juice injections are what make the difference between tortured, shriveled, shrieking blobs and murderous battlefield horror. There is, however, only one way to obtain fresh growth juice. It must be distilled from the corpses of the fallen, dozens, even hundreds of corpses. Not uncoincidentally, this Odyssey of Slaughter also provides the fine opportunity to road test Throt's latest abominations. So we just need to kill a whole shit bunch of people. Good. So it looks like... Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. So we... Good. So Throt has confederated with the Naglfari. So I think that means Throt is still around. Yes. So Throt's still around, but he's now more powerful. My hope is that we can keep Throt on Throt? Throg. Too many thrus. Never mind. Right, we're going to have defences in a couple of turns. That's good. We have this. I need to upgrade the Pits of Packmasters. I also want that, but I can't afford it. So, options. What are my options here? We could upgrade this, or I could just save my pennies. Just save our monies, couldn't we? Could do that. Now, Kislev probably have one army, and my guess is it's probably going to be around here somewhere, which is why I want the defences for Fort Ostrosk before we go anywhere. Because once we've got defences, we should be in a fairly good position. Okay, we've got that casualty replenishment rate. That is always useful. Just one turn away. I can't see anyone. I think we're probably fine to go wandering off. Are we? I still can't afford that. Went for a few more turns either. You know what we need to do? We need to sack somewhere. If we scamper over here, then with any luck, they will not be close enough to cause us any issues. Let's get upkeep reduction for the Skaven slaves, because we actually have some Skaven slaves. I almost never recruit Skaven slaves, but there we go. Oh, nice. We have expanded our Undercity. Look at that. The Tower of Karak is now... Well, has an Undercity, which is good. We've also got Superior Batch. So we've emptied the growth vat. We hit 1,000. So we've emptied the growth vat to reveal a Superior Batch of monstrous specimens. So we have 3 Rat Ogres, 1 Brood Horror, and 1 Hellpit Abomination. So we can now recruit these units. As you can see here, we've actually got a nice selection. We didn't get a mutant rat ogre. Bit of a shame. Never mind. We can probably get rid of some of these wolf... I mean, I would like more rat ogres, so I'm going to get rid of you. Can I chuck those in a growth vat? What does that do? No, that just augments. That's not growth vat. Right, disband... yeah. Disband you. Let's get something like that. They don't cost anything to recruit, and... they come with mutations. So, for example, our Hellpit Abomination has the Warp Lightning Rod. And these guys have got the Spines Augments. These guys have got the Physical Resistance. We've also got 120 mutagen. Now, we can only hold 100, which means 20 of this will be lost next turn if we don't use it. Now, we could potentially try and dump another Augment on our Rat Ogres, but 40% chance for it to go horribly wrong. Dicey. I am going to... Right, I like Deadly Momentum. Tell you what we're going to do. Now, our Hellpit Abomination has a 20% chance to come instability. So we're going to whack this thing on, which gives them 2 random uncommon augments. Okay, he's fine. Well, maybe. So it now has... had the Warp Lightning beforehand. It now has Vanguard deployments and increased speed and physical resistance, plus the leadership. So that's not bad. It's also freed. So we could give Guardian. That's an option. Or so autonomy will reduce the upkeep for this unit. Fluffy is quite expensive and he is taking a lot of damage, so we could actually go for this. It's not really going to help in melee combat though, is it? Oh, fuck it, I'm going to give Deadly Momentum. Okay, he's fine. He's fine so far. So far, so good. I mean, giving Fluffy Weeping Bone Spines sounds fucking amazing. It would take all... I mean, he's only got 40 armor, so who gives a shit if he loses 100 armor, right? So, what we could do... I don't really want to... See, this is dicey, isn't it? This is... Okay, we'll give our Rat Ogres Guardian, because if we want to keep our Packmaster with them, then that kind of makes sense, right? Okay, they're fine. I also want to give Fluffy the casualty replenishment rate, so we're going to go with that. Okay, he's good. Now we want to give him the Weeping Bone Spine. So he has a 30%... Oh, we've run out of fucking mutagen. I need 5 more. Oh, that's fine. No, that won't give us mutagen. We could always buy some if we had 5,000. Increase growth juice from battles. That would give us more mutagen. Basically, I want to give Fluffy the... I want to remove his armor but make him significantly more killy. That's my plan. Right, we're going to, though, go for Zoishnek. Now we've got a slightly more buffed up army. Now, I should be able to auto-resolve this, but I don't trust it, so we're going to have to fight the battle. That will, however, have to wait until next time. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.